Hi neighbors. Hello. I would say happy Monday, but it's been a real Monday of a Monday. So it actually feels really nice out here. This is the first time that it hasn't been totally unbearable outside. I've got my really awesome Public Works t-shirt on that I got when I did my ride-along with our Public Works department last week, which was really great. I think they took some photos. I'm kind of waiting for those to come around and I'll reshare them, but had a great day with our Public Works crew and got to experience a lot of different things that they do. Not even remotely close to everything that they do, but a lot of different things. So we'll go ahead and get started. Oh, hold on. Somebody is asking me a question. About how to get on the Porch Talk. Okay. I feel like I should probably respond to that to help them join. Yeah, so very exciting news, guys. Our Public Art Citizen Advisory Board has made the recommendations for who to award stipends to and whose art submissions won our first ever public art application process. That's going to end up being 4 of our utility boxes in the city being wrapped up in art wraps. Like you've seen this all throughout Chattanooga. And probably other cities, but we are finally going to have public art, like, that's sponsored by the city, hosted by the city, and we're actually paying stipends to the artists, which is really awesome. Each of the awarded artists are going to get a $500 stipend, and then we are also paying for the actual printing and installation of the art wraps. And that's going to be a total of around $5,200. And that was budgeted for this year in our budget. So I'm really excited for that. I won't ruin the surprise, but I will say that 2 of the 4 artists who won, who were picked, are Red Bank residents. So it's very, very exciting. Very, very cool. All right. Another very cool and exciting thing is we have our nonprofit Citizen Advisory Board Awards. This is related to the $150,000 in American Rescue Plan Act grant funds that we allocated in the spring of 21. We are going to be distributing $50,000 this year, $50,000 next year, and $50,000 in 2026 because those funds have to be spent by December of 2026. And so there's actually an attachment in our packet if you want to look through that, and you can see everybody who was awarded. There were 8 applicants, and they are all receiving some kind of monetary grant through from the ARPA funds, which I'm really excited about. I know some of them had asked for a little more than they got, but I think that our nonprofit board was recommending this allocation so that everybody could get a little something. And it actually goes through and it shows you, like, so we've got Be the Change Youth Initiative, who is very active in our schools, particularly Red Bank High School, getting a $10,000 grant. We have Downside Up Inc. getting $10,000. The Chambliss Center for Children, $5,000, and it shows you here on this attachment that's on the website, redbanktn.gov, like what they plan to use those funds for and how they're going to impact community members here in Red Bank. And we've got the Learning Gardens at Red Bank Elementary, $5,000, McCamey Animal Center, $5,000. What is that one? I can't read it. Northside Neighborhood House, $5,000. Porch Inc., $5,000, and then Waterways, $5,000. So technically the nonprofit advisory board is just making those recommendations to us, and then we as a city commission will vote on approving those allocations or changing them if we should so desire. But this went through a very rigorous process of scoring where each individual member of the committee scored separately on their own, sent it in to Leslie Johnson, our community development director, She compiled all that information, and then they all came together and discussed further what they wanted those amounts to look like based on the scores that each of the applicants got. So they've got all of that paperwork, very methodical, very rigorous. So we'll get to hear all about that tomorrow, and I'm just excited to get some of those COVID relief funds back out into the community to some of our nonprofit partners who really help support our neighbors, our students, and our families through a really, really difficult and challenging time for everybody. So, all right, item number 3, we've got introduction of and financial update from CFO Chris Pickle. So technically, she's not officially our CFO until September 1st, but she is acting CFO. She's interim CFO right now. So she'll just be giving us a financial update. I suspect it has to do probably with, like, you know, our a better accounting of our end of year fiscal 24 numbers. So if you want to hear about that, that is only going to be talked about during our work session, which is at 5 o'clock. So either show up or live stream that at that time. And then we've got another item that's going to be just an introduction in our work session, and that is Kate Hackney will be talking about New City Service, where we're going to be collecting used oil and tires from residents only. This does not apply to commercial properties. It is from residents only. I don't want to steal all her thunder, but it's, you know, things like transmission fluid, motor oil, things like that. There will be a certain number of times you can make this request throughout the year, and there's a whole process for how to do that, and Kate will tell us more about that tomorrow in our work session. All right, items number 5 and 6 are connected, so I'm just going to talk about those together. This is the approval of the purchase of 5 radios for the police department, and the purchase and installation of vehicle emergency equipment for the police department. So these are the pieces of equipment that are going to upfit the new police vehicles that we budgeted for this year. And those purchases for the radios and the emergency equipment were also budgeted for in this year's budget cycle in fiscal year 25. Item number 7 is approve contract for temporary labor and leaf collection and other fall season labor through Total Resource for an amount not to exceed $18,000. We've done this every year since I've been elected, and from my understanding, years before that, we simply just don't have enough staff for when all the leaves start falling and people start, you know, raking them out to the curb so that they can be sucked up by the leaf vacuum truck. And so we work with a temp service and hire temporary laborers just for that period of time. And so no more than $18,000 will be spent on that. And then our second to last item is memorial dedications and or donations. So let me talk a little bit more about that. This is a new policy that's been created by our Parks and Rec manager, Jeffrey Graby, regarding monetary donations to fund city parks and recreation public spaces, benches, and trees. So if you want to donate a bench or a native tree in memoriam of someone that you know is dear to you, or who was an important figure in your life here in Red Bank, or what have you, you can go through the process of applying to do that. You can donate, like I said, native trees, park benches, memorial plaques for the benches, and things like that. So currently we don't really have a process for that that's in place. People have been able to make monetary donations to the city before, and we've had folks make donations like, I can donate $1,000 and I want it to go to the police department. Okay, so it gets sent over to them, and it kind of just, you know, is in like a general fund for them that they can draw from. But we don't really have a process for if you want to actually, like, you know, create a little you know, memorial to somebody that was important to you in our community. So this is a neat way, I think, to have folks who maybe want to invest in our parks and public spaces, and also pay tribute to a dear or loved one. So Jeffrey will talk about that tomorrow. And then the last item on the agenda is something really short and sweet: approve electronic device and computer usage policy. And that's all it is. It's pretty straightforward. We have, things like that in place, but this is just kind of an updated version because technology is always changing and so on and so forth. And so we've got a new policy that we'll be reading about and voting on tomorrow. And that's it. Easy peasy. I don't know if you guys have any questions, but I can't think of anything else. So if that's it, I will let you all go and see you tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Or, you can live stream and we'll wave at you from afar. All right, have a good night. See you tomorrow.